I was at a friend's house a few weeks ago helping with a project, and somebody was watching a TV show in the other room. And I kind of kept overhearing the dialogue. And one of the things that stuck out to me was this interaction between some police, I think, or social workers and a man at his house. They'd come to do like a wellness check. And this man was saying that he hadn't been out of his house in 2 years. It was during the COVID pandemic. And basically, when COVID started, he just locked himself in his house and didn't come out for anything. And he said, I never felt so free as when I was locked in my house for those 2 years. And that really struck me. I was like, wow, that's so interesting of a concept because I can kind of relate. And not that I've locked myself in my house for 2 years or anything like that, but to that concept of freedom, right? Because I thought about it some more and it's like, okay, 2 years, he didn't see any other humans. He didn't talk to anybody else. He wasn't around anybody else. And he felt so free in being that way. So what it struck me was is he had no audience around him. He had no expectations to manage and no appearances to maintain. And though I do wonder if he remembered to shower during those 2 years. But anyway, that struck me as a great analogy to this challenge that I've had through my life as a narcissist. And that is that often, if I'm around other people, I'm thinking of, okay, how long do I have to do this until I can get back to being alone? And my desire and drive to be alone is very similar to this gentleman who locked himself in his house because when I'm alone, I don't have to try to maintain any image in my world. Now, that might seem similar to sort of any uncomfortable situation that anybody might be in, or anytime somebody has not the greatest sense of self worth, they feel like they have to, you know, put on a good face in front of other people. But that's just the standard constant state of living as a narcissist. That's what the whole narcissistic personality structure is built around, presenting an image to the world and, yes, manipulating the world around you to the best of your ability strategically to make sure that people only see that image that you're presenting and never really see beyond it to the real you, who you are. And so, but if you think about this guy who had locked himself in his house for 2 years, his freedom that he found, this feeling of freedom, actually became a cage that he was locked in. Because what would happen if he went outside, and walked down the street? Suddenly he would have to start being aware of the other people around him and what do I look like? Am I scratched? Did I forget to shave? Am I wearing dirty hole? That's very similar to the self-created cage of the narcissist, where you're constantly hyper observant of interactions and people around you so that you can know how to respond because you know that they're expecting some sort of response from you that's perhaps different than what would naturally come from you. And if you just spouted all that stuff unconsciously, you would not have people wanting to hang around you anymore. So that's why the alone time is great in terms of when you feel like you have to constantly perform. And what I notice is when I get alone, at the end of the day or whatever the case may be, I feel like I can relax a little bit. But I don't want to live that way where I feel like I can't relax the rest of the day except when I'm alone, because that's not a real functional way to live if you're wanting to have a great, satisfying life where you feel free to be yourself and you actually have relationships and friendships that really work for you. So it's really important, or it was a really important step on my journey to really look at that and see how I use that aloneness as a relief from that stress of being around other people. And let me tell you, I still value my alone time. I make sure I get it because I think that that's probably always going to be the case for me. I'm never going to be one who wants to always be around other people. That's just not who I am. But I don't want it to hamstring my life, kind of like this guy hamstrung his life for 2 years being locked in his house. And so, there's this cost of that performance. And, when you're really deep in it, it becomes like you're walking down the street and even that becomes a performance. Like, is this how normal people walk? Am I swinging my arms naturally? Should I have my hands in my pockets? Should I have my hands out of my pockets? Should I have them strapped in my backpack thing here? What do I do? What do normal people do? Because there's this constant need or unconscious need to appear a certain way so nobody finds out the real you. part of the journey of becoming awake as a narcissist is understanding that it's okay to be you, that true personal freedom comes from you actually being you. And so freedom isn't just escaping the audience. It's really about recognizing those invisible walls that we've built around ourselves and how to break through them. All right, make sure you subscribe, give a thumbs up, drop some comments below, questions, comments. How's this work for you? What have you found that works? Do you need a lot of alone time still? Has that gotten more? Has that gotten less as you started your adventure and your journey into narcissism? Do you have a relationship with somebody who seems to need to spend a lot of alone time? That is a need as a narcissist, in balance with the whole waking up process. So throw some comments below. I'd love to interact with you guys, and we'll see you next time.